Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Anti-Bias. With me, as always, old Ian, or as your new favorite nickname in Pretoria, Hampu.
That's the new one, yeah. I've been Pretoria. You're right. Nice to be back again.
Yeah. So I quite enjoyed you in Pretoria over the week. We'll get there soon, but actually calling you a Hampu from across the green.
Yeah, I was just walking past the green with my bowls bag on my back, and I heard Hampu from all the sides of the green. Yeah,
and that must be your most favorite nickname you've ever had, Hampu.
Yeah, it's number one at the moment. Absolutely, yeah.
Most number one favorite in the world.
Yeah.
It's a lot of action last week, Ampo. A lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
We're gonna, just because we did the men All Cape, we're gonna do the ladies in the All Cape, and we're only gonna do the cup winners. I think it's become a bit of a watered down tournament.
Okay.
Don't know if you agree. If you look at the entries, if you look at what's actually happening and what the All Cape actually could be versus what it is, I think I'm not gonna give it too much attention.
Yeah, look, I think that they need to look at winners played. It's too close to nationals. Nationals, here we go. SA Open. They need to have a longer break between the two. And then, look at how they can start attracting those numbers again. I mean, we were away now and we spoke about the idea of maybe having a coastal open, from all the way from KZN all the way down here. That's also an option, but definitely worth looking at.
Yeah, so I agree with you, and I think look, change is as good as holiday. All Cape for many years was the top thing at the coast, and it's just not the same anymore. Fours has become an unattractive game. I love fours; it's my favorite format, but it's become an unattractive and unpopular format to play. So even here at Durbanville, they never play fours and tabs; they play trips. So maybe having a look at the Western Cape executive, having a look at how they can actually spice up the All Cape. But it's you can just see the numbers decreasing every year. Next year in Cape Town, we'll have all the numbers and look good again. But because of the location, how many people play balls in Cape Town? But any case, let's move on to the results. Sure. We've only got the winners here, and Esme Kruger continuing her incredible form. Yeah. She did very well at the SA Open ladies and winning the All Cape Cup with Delinda Malan, Kate Barker, and Ilse Nel. So that gives Esme a gold in the pairs at the SA Open, a silver in the fours. And then gold in All Cape. So she's had a good season. Eden, obviously, since she's moved to Eden, done quite well. Yes. So congrats to her and her whole side. And you can see how jubilated they are there on screen. But yeah, let's get to what we actually want to speak to you about tonight. It's the SA Open. What a tournament down in Pretoria.
Yeah, I know. Look, it was brilliant. It's my first time actually staying in Pretoria. Touring again in Pretoria. I've driven through there a few times. I never actually stayed there. And it was brilliant. It's from club to club, and nice to see the guys up north there again, and the hospitality and the friendships, new friendships made, and everything was brilliant.
I think that's the key word is not everyone can medal. Okay, so not everyone can go and medal. We know that. There's only a certain amount of people that can actually medal. But I think what we experience as a group, and if I say group, it's not only just the four I played with and the four you played with. It's the four I played with combined with the 12 you toured with, combined with some guys there from inland, Calvin and Brad and Clint and Sid, and the other boys from Port Natal, and what a tour it was. I mean, it was all guys from different backgrounds, from different clubs, from different districts, and I think we just made the best of it. Absolutely. It was, the way Harlequins received us. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a Facebook video that came out on Sunday evening about our mate.
We just showed them how we do things down here in the Western Cape, how we break into songs and we sing for each other, and
that's it,
and all that kind of thing. And
so we sang about our mate, yes. Mr. Calvin Hollis.
Mr. Calvin Hollis, yes.
On to Tuesday evening, Bri at CBC All Boys when Dion already hogged the mic on a karaoke, which he did. He was a better singer than he is a bowler.
100%, yeah.
And how much fun Tuesday evening was. And then, going to the headquarters later on in the week. And it was such a great tour for me personally with my four and, adding to your touring party with Wade and Raggers and Stevie and Tony and Luke and Clark and adding on Calvin and Brad. And I encourage you next year, wherever you're watching from in the country, I encourage you to get on tour and come play the SA Open in Cape Town next year. I can guarantee you it's going to be exceptional. The people you meet will be mates for life. The bowl standard will be high. And that's what it's about, is going away, knowing that there's only a certain few that can medal, but you'll give it the best shot you can. Yeah. But have fun while you're at it. We hear too many times that sides come back and there's arguments and it's this and it's that. And don't forget the fun factor when you pay 15,000 Rand or 16,000 Rand for the week to go on tour.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If you're not having fun, if you're paying 16,000 Rand to go and win a medal, then you're sort of wasting your money. You need to embrace the whole tour and take it as a whole.
Yeah, and that's a good point you raise, because it is a whack of cash, for the week. But it is something you plan for. You don't know when you're going to fall out, and you always hope to stay that day or two longer and have to move your flights if you have to. But it's. We were a bit disappointed with how many spectators there were all the way to the end there watching the finals and that kind of thing. If it wasn't for the players that stayed on and carried on watching, there was a handful of people there that came down to watch, all the way down to Sunday. So it's not really what we're used to down here. We're used to quite a big spectator crowd down here, whether it's whatever, province competition or if there's a Masters or something down here or the PBA event. So we're used to good crowds. So that was a bit surprising for us to see.
Yeah, small crowd for the final days, for Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. And you think that was disappointing for me. As if they didn't advertise, come down. And I can guarantee you most greens were full for tabs.
Yeah.
Instead of actually coming down to watch the SA Nationals.
Correct. I mean, it's
SA Open.
They missed out. We were treated to some brilliant bowls. So there was some amazing games, and it was really, really magic to sit and watch there.
No, it was incredible. And I'm still sort of in that wish I was still back. Sorry, Anna. But wish I was still there with the boys. I had an amazing time. It was, when I got back on Sunday evening, I said to Anneke, what an incredible tour of the boys.
Yeah.
And at one stage, our tour was 6, with you and old João de Souza joining us, and then we ended up only being 5. We started off as 4, then became 6, and then became 5, and then. But what a tour! What a event! And I think BGN did exceptionally well.
Yeah,
I think they organised it quite well.
And what a treat to go and play up there and just experience that weather as well. Like just knowing you're going to get up in the morning and there's no whipping southeaster blowing or some horizontal rain hitting you square in the forehead when you're standing on the mat, that kind of thing. So it was a real pleasure to go and experience.
No, and I think next year, it's in Cape Town, the men's, and they really have to think long and hard about the time, what time of the year. So I'd suggest they do it late April rather wait for May.
Correct, yeah.
Because at least the weather is still decent in April. Yeah. Don't wait for May. You might find yourself in trouble. We saw the flooding we had early May.
Yeah, you don't want to be missing games. You don't want to be cancelling days and all that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Let's get straight into the results. We're going to start off with the 4s. And the bronze medalists, Bobby Donnelly, Neil Burkett, David Smith and Reece Nelson. And Bobby Donnelly winning that quarterfinal against Jason Evans on the last bowl.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And we'll get to the last bowl later on. And then the other side was the 2024 champions, Alan Gordon, Johnny Gatti, Gavin Erasmus, and Brian Dahl.
Yes.
Which good side. I mean, they've got a gold and a bronze in the last 3 years. So they've done quite well. And then the silver medalists all the way from the Northern Cape, which they were a bit of the surprise of the tournament for me. Marco Geel, Francois van der Walt, Quentin Cook, and Jan Marais stood a chance to win that game at one stage.
Yeah, they brought it close. There was a moment there. I mean, I'm not sure how many ends they burnt in that final. If we go
I think
back
that 17th end was replayed 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. So, the opponents, Morgan choosing to go for the short ends the whole time, and we spoke about it afterwards. And then when they got the jack back, they threw it long, and I'm not quite sure that would have been the best choice to go for there because they were burning the short ends so well. So if I was them, I would have kept it short there. But anyway, that's what they say about hindsight. So perfect
the best side, John. And then your gold medalists, Morgan Mavongo, Nomata Mavongo, Sipho Villampine, and Abraham Masamela. Really played well, played the conditions very well. I mean, they played those 24-meter ends, every end, and nailed it. And
they were brilliant. The pick for me there was watching them. I mean, Morgan played beautifully, but Nomata was just amazing. How he controlled the game and how he called, and how he just stopped everything and looked at every single option, and he called Morgan brilliantly. I mean,
what I didn't like is the 15-minute conferences between balls. I mean, that's if there was a time limit, I didn't like that too much. Also, before we played them in the quarterfinals, everyone's ready to go. Morgan's still sitting somewhere, and you have to go fetch him and delays the game. I didn't like that too much. Also, some comments made after the game was finished, which I didn't like, but I'm not going to air that on here. But no matter, very good. Morgan, the pick of the players at the 4 against us. He's the one. I don't think anyone played particularly well because the green was a bit tough. But Morgan, when he had to play a big one, every time with his last wood, he did it. So well done to them. That's incredible for them. Yeah. And I think if you look at the trophy there, that is the most beautiful trophy of all the trophies you can win.
It's a stunning trophy.
It's a stunning trophy. No matter, he's a strong youngster. He's a strong he's a strong kid. And he lifted the trophy up in the prize and goes, "Oh, can someone come help me?" That is a beautiful trophy to win.
Yeah, stunning.
And then on we go to the pairs. Wynand Poel and Andrew Hinch winning the pair. So they played out of Nyasa.
Correct.
And the Nyasa Eden. And then the other side, Andries and Henk Barnard, also from Eden, out of George. So Nyasa last year being the gold medalist, this year 2 bronze, doing quite well.
Yeah, very good.
And the silver medalists, Andre Rousseau and Brendan Ferns. And they were the 2019 champions when it was in Pretoria.
Yeah.
Andre is Marizal's father, and Brendan's engaged to Marizal. Yes. So they've, as a combination, got a gold and a silver in the SA Nationals or the SA Open in Pretoria. So they've done quite well. And then these two, the gold medalists, Bobby Donnelly and Reece Nelson.
Jeez, what a week for Bobby and Reece, both of them.
I wonder if Bobby can still walk.
Yeah, he hasn't played that much probably in a long time. Yeah.
Bobby, incredible. He was a bronze medalist in the 4s.
Yeah.
He beat Jason and Josh Otto Holiki and Mr. Bowles on the last ball in the quarterfinals of the 4s. He beat Jason and Mr. Bowles on the last bowl of the
pairs.
Quarterfinals of the pairs. Yeah. And incredible combination. You could just see Reece. I remember him when Bobby played that shot, the jubilation of Reece.
Yeah.
For Bobby, I don't know when last Bobby medaled at the with all due respect, at the SA Open or the Nationals, and good on him taking a youngster out.
Yeah.
Grooming the youngsters, and just got rewarded for it.
100%. Magic week for both of them. Very, very well done.
That could have been Daniel Key, but Daniel Key decided to go for me as a skip instead of Uncle Bobby. And then in the singles,
that's how you learn, Daniel Key.
And the vet singles. Next, Colin White, bronze medalist, as well as our very own from Kraaifontein, deal member at Durbanville, Steve Wood.
Steve Wood did well.
Stevie did well, under the radar. Saw him there on I think it was Saturday or Friday, and I say, well done. hardly didn't know he was there, but obviously the boys got stuck in behind him and did well. I think that might be Kraaifontein's first ever national medal. Or SA Open or national medal.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Kraaifontein's got a Western Province or district medal yet. So he is going legend status at Kraaifontein.
Top of the board.
Yeah.
Probably going to name the green after.
And you got Andre Brink from CBC in the silver medal. You could see they had quite a good crowd going on the bank there.
Yeah.
Saw my mom and the crew there on the bank in their CBC shirts. She did make mention that they were applauding both ways in the final. And when she applauded, she did make a mention of that.
As we all do.
And the winner from Morningside, Ian Buxton.
Yeah, well done.
You can see Ian there.
Didn't have a big Morningside crew there watching him play in the final, but
it's disappointing the crowds that came out.
Yeah.
You know, the local boys, you thought there'd be more support. And off to the open singles. And here is the man on everyone's lips at the moment, Luciano, or what's that chick from Joburg call her?
Luciano.
With the the south side of Joburg, Luciano. The chick from Gauteng Bowls with the AI stuff. The AI specialist. I see they're doing courses now and it's free, eh?
Really?
Learn how to do bowls marketing for your club, AI marketing for free.
Okay.
Any case, so she called him Luciano.
Still have to pay for the app.
It depends. Well, the free version where they make spelling mistakes. The paid version where we don't. But Luciano, absolute revelation. I mean, we watched him play. We followed him.
Yeah.
And I think if I go look at he got a bronze medal, but I think his biggest achievement that week was being way down against Brad Robinson, a current Protea in the Commonwealth Games squad, and got back and beat him convincingly in the end.
Yeah.
And he just announced himself on the stage. Everyone knows who he is. Humble youngster, part of the PBA Academy. Him and AD, they did quite well in the pairs as well. And for me, he was the find of the SA Open. He was. If they could put a face to the SA Open this year, it would be Luciano.
I agree. Yeah.
Or Luciano, as they call him down there.
Luciano up north, Luciano down south. He definitely stole a lot of hearts up there while he was there. He's such a good kid and so talented. Ball out of hand, everything is an absolute pleasure to watch. But the one thing that I absolutely loved about him was the fact that he's just fearless.
Yeah,
no fear of failure. It's no fear of failure. Whatever happens. He's up and at it. He plays. He draws well. He's got good weighted shots and that kind of thing. He just no fear, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant to watch.
I think he because of our touring party, he also gained a couple of followers there with Dion Audi and Roberts and Daniel Key and the boys quite got stuck in behind him. Got stuck in with him and supported him very well. That game he played against Aaron Chilundu.
Yes.
There was big support for him. And BSA, watch out. There's a new kid on the block. Yep. Not from JBA, which you so love to push and punt. There's a boy here from the Western Cape and he's coming to take names. And be careful and be wary. The man's coming.
Yeah, and it's still early days for him as well. He's got lots to do.
Yeah, and later on we've got Anneke as a foundation or the head coach of the PBA Foundation to chat a bit more about them. But he's an academy player and AD as well, as you said, did very well. Other bronze medalist, my boy, the plumber.
The plumber, had a really, really good week all the way up to there.
Yeah, the plunger, as he's informally known, the plunger.
Yes.
Got stuck there. I think if he doesn't play that game against Nikša on A1, I think there was a bit of a mental block, maybe possibly because we lost the fours there the day before. And one of the biggest pleasures to play with the calmness. I learned so much from this guy in the fours, and to watch him and support him. And I'm going to mention this now. We spoke about it when the ladies played, and we said this ladies beating this one. 7 SA Masters playing is getting knocked out before the last 16, and I don't feel BSA is doing the top players any favors. To have a Wayne Roberts, Wayne Ritmiller quarterfinal, and a Nikša Wayne Roberts semi-final, and you go look at the others. Look, Josh was in there as well. And you go look at the other half of the draw, and you go look at who, with all due respect, who Matthews played and who Luciano played, getting into that last 4 spots. I just think that we really need to start thinking about seeding players, not fours, not pairs. You're sending your singles champion to the world champ of champs, and you need to look at a ranking system. Lombard offered a free ranking system to design a ranking system for BSA. And he was ignored. He said, I'll do it on my cost. And they ignored him.
Okay.
So they clearly don't want it, or they just don't know any better. But we really need to look at that going forward, because you can't have those oaks knocking each other out in the quarterfinals and last 16s, but there's other oaks sneaking through here. Someone like Luciano, on paper, shouldn't have beaten Brad Robinson if you look at a pro-tier player versus a younger player. So Luciano proved himself, and you know, so he deserves that where he got. I just think others got a bit of a free ride into the last 16 and the last 8. And BSI seriously needs to think, as we said during the ladies thing, are we playing a game or a leisure sport, or do we want to make this a sport, a competitive sport? And if you want to make it a competitive sport, go rank your players and make sure that your top 16 on rankings is the ones that has an easier road into the last 16. If they get beat along the way, then they don't deserve to be there. And well done to that person that knocked them out, because they deserve it. They've taken the opportunity. But, yeah, well done to Wayne Roberts. I don't want to go in too deep on that. Wayne, what a lovely guy. Toured with him and learned so much about him and learned so much about the game from him. I was caught in between him and Nikša in that semi-final, because I've known Nikša for 17 years and Wayne's my teammate, so I couldn't give it a go, Plummy, or come on, Plum Bob, or Plum Boy, or Plunger. But well done on your bronze. And then Matthews in the silver medal there. Exceptional. He's come good over the last few years.
No, big time.
Played here in the PBA finals against the Plumber 2 years ago, and now in the SA Open final. He also played Nikša actually in the SA Masters final a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when it was in Cape Town.
Correct, yeah.
So Matthews,
such a nice guy. You know, he's so humble, not an arrogant bone in his body. He just loves the game. Always got a smile on his face. It's a pleasure to watch. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
Yeah. And then the eventual winner, Nikša with a thing on the S, Bengurić. I thought it was an I when he tried to spell the name. My bad. But Nikša with an upside down V on his S.
Correct. Nikša.
With a V on his S.
Or as they call him at municipals, Nishka.
Nishka or Mishka?
No, Nishka.
Was it Nishka? I heard Mishka at one stage as well when they called him out. But I mean, what a gentleman, Ampo.
Yeah, listen, can't say enough about the guy. You know, he's in the form of his life, absolute form of his life. And such a gentleman as well, absolute ambassador for the game, for the sport. You know, I got the opportunity to play against him and obviously lost, but what a pleasure it was playing against him. You know, he's just, like I say, absolute gentleman, plays hard. And anyone who wants to get close to him and try and beat him now and in the next couple of months, he's probably had a few guys out on the greens this week working on their game after they played against him last week. But no, he was brilliant. What a week from Nikša, and well done to him. He's a proper champion.
Yeah, so we played him in the fours, and you could just see then already he was sharp.
I was just going to say, it took a really good fours team to knock him out of the fours. With an unbelievable game. They came down to the last end with the umpire's measure.
It would have been a final.
Came down to the last end with the umpires measures. Well done to that team.
So I had an interview in the week with Nikša, and I said to him, the bookies have it that you intentionally played your last ball short in the fours against us, so you could just focus on the singles. And you'll see on the interview what his response was. But so he is an absolute gentleman, but he's also a fierce competitor on the green.
For sure. 100%.
You know, he doesn't take it lightly. He plays hard. Off the green, the biggest gentleman, tough competitor on the green, and got high standards. And well done, Nikša Bengurić, pal. A good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, and a good friend of a lot of bowlers in South Africa, and he's an all-around nice guy. And that's the type of characters you want to see winning medals.
Absolutely, and well deserved as well. He's like I said, probably most deserved winner there. He played really, really well.
Yeah. So before we go into the interview with Nikša, I just want to make a comment about someone that was very vocal leading up to the SA Open. Okay. About not being able to play in PBA, and he doesn't rate Masters players, and not everyone gets a chance to play in the PBA. Okay. And then he said, watch us at the SA Open. Mr. Mike O'Connor.
Oh, okay.
He was giving it the big one, building up to the SA Open, and not close to the medals.
No.
I wonder if he won a section apart from his single section, which he then lost in the bluff. Mike, when we talk big on the comment section, we have to produce it on the green as well. We can't just be big here and very small here. There's an imbalance there, pal. Look like a dancing at the IPL. turn the light bulb, pat the dog. But you can't do that, pal. Like when we talk a big game here, we have to be there as well. Can't just do that.
Set the bar, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey, next time, don't write checks that your mouth can't cash, was it? Don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't cash, was it saying? Do you know the saying?
I don't know that saying, but anyway.
There's some saying like that. Mike, looking forward to you next year. You got another 11 months and 3 weeks to practice.
He won the fours here last time.
No. But
I don't know if he's got that same set of straight balls that he had last time. No, geez.
Mikey, you've got 11 months. You've got 11 months to practice.
Yeah.
And up next, fortunate enough to have had a nice conversation with Nikša Bengurić regarding his time at the SA Open and his journey to gold. Hi, Nikša. Thank you very much for joining us on this VC today.
Good to have the chat.
Yeah, always like to have you on. Actually, you're one of the nice guys of bowls. Everyone always speaks about your demeanor and who you are as a person, and lucky to see guys like you come through and actually win the SA Open.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Just to take you back in this, start us off. You obviously entered all disciplines in the pairs and the fours and the singles. There's the bookies have made contact with the gambling authority saying that you threw your last ball short on purpose against us in a playoff of the fours because you just wanted to keep your mind for the singles.
That's not as far-fetched as what you think.
We had the same chirp to Wayne. We said, Wayne, you threw the four so you can just focus on the singles.
Yeah, and look. I mean, we had an exceptional game in the fours. Went right down to the wire, and I mean, a measure on the last end decided the winner. I think it was an exceptional game, and unfortunate not to win that one. I'll be honest, but glad that it worked out well for me in the end. That it made me concentrate on the singles and managed to do well in the singles.
Yeah. So your worst bowl against us in the fours was basically your last one because the 29 leading up to that was incredible. So last year in the fours, I had Brendan Ferns in my four section. So I'm sort of going, or I played Brendan Ferns in the fours. So it's basically becoming a bit of a trend.
Yeah.
That if you play me in the fours section, you stand a good chance to win if you play me in the fours, you stand a good chance to win the national singles title or the SA Open singles title.
Incredible.
So your journey, sort of, before we get to the actual sort of the singles, where did bowls start for you? Where did you start your bowls? How old were you?
So look, I started bowls probably back in like around 1997, somewhere around there. I was around 14, 15 years old. Obviously got into bowls because of my dad. So my dad was a keen bowler, and that's how I started playing. First club I joined was his club, and that was Pretoria Municipals, and that's actually where we played the fours over the weekend that passed. So I was a member there for quite a few years. Before then, I started obviously working properly, started a family and all those things, and I had to stop playing bowls. I must have stopped for probably roughly around 8 years, somewhere around there, and then started again in I don't know, around 2013, somewhere around there. And from there, obviously progressively playing more and more what I have been now in the last, like say, 5-6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're one of those guys, and you see it all over, guys. The guys that's actually performing now at a high level. They all started very young.
Mm.
Would you say that's the benefit, even though you've had the 8-year break? Would you say that first sort of age 14 to 18 or 19 or 20, whatever it was, would you say that's, starting that age definitely helps in terms of, giving you the advantage we are now? Or would you say that it's just based on time and effort and work you put into your bowls?
Look, I wouldn't say no from starting from an early age that it doesn't give you an advantage or any benefit. Of course it does. But I do think the older you get and the more settled you are in life, does help. You got to bowls is a very much, obviously you got to have ability, but the mind needs to be in a good place. And if the mind's in a good place, then you can achieve great things. And that obviously comes in with time and effort and practice on the greens and those sorts of things. But I think all things collectively, benefit you in the long run.
You just mentioned something now, and we've got a good couple of youngsters in Cape Town that actually plays proper level bowls. We had an 18-year-old playing up in our Open A side this year, and there's about 4 or 5 of them that's between ages 15 and 18 that's playing proper bowls. You don't want to walk into them on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I always say to people, everyone says, "Oh, they're brilliant." They are brilliant. I said, but wait, they still have to find a job or finish their studies. They still have to buy a house and a car, and just relating to what you said, mindset. Now you're a lot more settled now in your life, and makes things easier from a mental perspective. You don't have to worry too much about other things in life because you've settled, and I think that's a great point to make in terms of mindset, and the mental side of the game.
Definitely. Look, it's difficult trying to juggle life and bowls all at the same time. So it does become difficult, and you need to find that medium basically that works for you, and go with that. And that's obviously gonna help when it comes to your bowls career.
100%. Let's get back to the SA Open now. And you obviously added 5 years to Hampo's life, because or Hampo's life, as he's also known, by winning it, because he can say he's lost to the eventual winner. Let's get down sort of to the last 16 and take it from there. Sort of, where did you sort of go? I can actually go and win this. I can actually go all the way. Because if you look at the draw, the top off and the bottom off, I think you were in the bottom off of that draw, which seemed top off, which seemed quite a bit tougher, with all due respect to everyone in the bottom half of that draw. But again, we mentioned it the other day with I rated to how many SA Masters players are you playing to get somewhere, and you guys had all the top guys in your top half of the draw. Now I'm saying that the bottom half wasn't top guys, but I'm saying if you go look at SA Masters players in the top half is bottom half, quite a tough road. Where did you sort of go, okay, I can actually go all the way here?
I'll be honest with you. When I started already at the in the sectional play or whatever at Muni's, I mean, I was playing generally okay. You know, I felt I was playing well. I think after getting through the section and playing in that playoff, I had a playoff game against Reese Nelson in the playoffs. Yeah, and he was exceptional. And I managed to get over the line. And from winning that game, I really started believing that, you know, I'm moving from unis now, I'm going to be moving to high school. The green's a little bit quicker. It's generally what I like. I then really started believing that, you know, you take one game at a time here and I can get close. Yes, obviously looking at the draw and you've seen all the names up there that were with you. The one benefit, though, in that is knowing that everyone's going to play everyone, and, you know, we're going to obviously dwindle down by the time you get down to quarterfinals, semifinals, or whatever. But I mean, as it is playing in a big tournament or whatever, you expect it to play the biggest and the best players. And when you're playing well, you can believe that you can beat them, you know, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and if I look at your game against Josh, you were absolutely unbelievable in that game, and then against Wayne Roberts in that semi-final again. You know, for me, I think that rink Yokes played on is very tricky. That streaming rink wasn't the easiest rink, but you found your weight, and that was the key to that rink, I believe, is finding play with the absolute correct weight and perfect weight, which you did, and you absolutely steamrolled Wayne off that green, which was quite a dominant display, looking at what he had done or his game with Wayne Ritmiller, which probably would have, in my mind, been regarded as probably the favourite to win the singles if you look at his PBA performance and those sort of things. And you steamrolled Wayne off that green, well, first Josh and then Wayne, and setting up a final where you just started off like a house on fire, went up and sort of parked it a little bit, and then let Matty come at you for a little while and then cleaned it off. Which was, I think it was an incredibly dominant performance and nice to see, knowing that you are one of the guys in the Commonwealth Games shortlist. And my prediction would be probably that you are in the last three that actually goes to the Commonwealth Games.
Well, I'll have to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say this is my prediction, you know. So, building up to the tournament, did you do anything different?
Yes and no. So what we were doing leading up to the tournament is we spent a bit of time at midstream. So weeks leading up to the Nationals or the SA Open, I spent some time at midstream where I was playing a couple of games against Wayne Ritmiller, Jason Evans. I played Siapia. Wayne Perry also came down. And then the 2 days before the Nationals actually started, we had like a mini camp where we had the guys from the Gold Squad who managed to practice against each other. And I think playing on that surface at that speed also put me in good stead for the week ahead. And, you know, playing against the best in practice really did help me leading into the tournament.
Yeah, and I think I think other people share the same sentiment. That Gold Squad camp you had at midstream before, I think it was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or the Thursday, Friday.
Thursday and Friday, yes.
Was what a way to sharpen your skills and to get your mind right and ready for the SA Open starting on the Saturday. Especially because the green speeds probably weren't too different, especially coming towards the latter part of the championship. Let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What a way to prepare.
No, most definitely. So that the speed of midstream versus what high school was probably running on, say, I'd say Saturday afternoon was probably at its quickest. I think high school was maybe a second quicker than what midstream actually is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you bit of a cheat code there in terms of prep. This is the second time you won this now in 5 years. Am I correct?
Yes, that's right.
2021.
Yeah.
You won it in Cape Town. You played Brad Robinson. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Coming through a section of death, you had Burkett and Nienaber in your section all the way through, and then quite a tightly contested final in 2021, and 5 years later, you do it again. Next year, another happy hunting ground for you in Cape Town. So get the bookies ready for the back-to-back there without tipping.
Look, I'll be looking forward to coming to Cape Town next year. It's a happy hunting ground for me.
Yes, so we've seen that. Just based on sort of something like the PBA, I said, let's call it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Playing a bit more singles, playing a bit more competitive singles, building up to nationals. The impact you think that might have on your skill set when the SA Open starts?
Oh, definitely. I think it'll be a good preparation. I mean, we know the greens at D'Urberville run, beautifully, and the speed's lovely, and also then be able to play against the players that you will be playing at the PBA for the nationals or leading up to the SA Open after that. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at 2 months ago, Durbanville was probably at its quickest, and you had guys at the Fair Tree Cup at the end of it, where the top of the top played each other, and if you get through those games, surely the SA Nationals becomes a touch, I wouldn't say easier, but it's from a mental perspective, I presume, it's a bit easier to approach because you've been in tighter situations against those same players that you're actually competing for the title with.
Yeah. Look, the one thing about SA Nationals that is probably the most difficult is that you're playing on different greens and you're playing against different opponents. So some opponents that you don't even know their background or whatever, which does make it difficult. You've got to be able to win, I think it was 9 games in a row on different rinks, different surfaces against different people, where sometimes playing something like the PBA or whatever, you kind of know what to expect. Not saying that in the sense of that it's going to be easier, but sometimes knowing a little bit more of what to expect can be easier than stepping into something that's the unknown.
Yeah, of course, and I agree with you. Nothing worth seeing someone that you've never seen or know about, and they come and put up an absolute display against you.
Yes.
I mean, you were quite fortunate this year by Wednesday. Well, by Monday, often all the favourites were knocked out already. Folks like myself and Wade Pretorius, and all the favourites were knocked out already by then. So open up a path for you there.
Yeah, definitely.
Any advice you'd have to players looking to go to the next level? So next level might be going from their second to their first side in their club, going from a first side in their club to the Bs, from a B side, open districts to an open A. Any advice you can give to some of the listeners here, just from your perspective?
Any advice I could give? Look, I mean, difficult to say, but look, practice does go a long way. So you got to put in some time and effort. And you also got to be humble with around your surroundings or whatever. Those types of things. Keeping a level head, and putting some good time on the green. And like I say, if your mind's in a good place, you can grow from there.
Thank you very much for that. It sort of comes back. If you personally ask any advice for someone looking to go to the next level, it's the same thing. Get your head right. Put some time on the green. Focus on your draw.
Yes.
Those sort of things. So the message is clear throughout the guys that's achieved. One thing for BGN, you've got the men's and ladies SA Open champions. How good is that for BGN?
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. What Sutar obviously achieved down in Port Natal was exceptional, and for me to do it then as well, it must mean a lot for BGN as a district.
Sorry. Yeah, I know, and that's fact. That's fact. So I think from a district perspective, it's amazing to have 2 champions of that magnitude, not only within South Africa, but then going away to the World Champion of Champs or World Champ of Champs in September, is it?
Yes.
That's incredible. And your second time, your first one was in New Zealand?
Correct.
Now facing the Aussie Greens. So all the best for that preparation building up to September. And we'll fingers crossed for you for the Commonwealth Games squads. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for spending some time with us today, Nikša. Really appreciate it. I'm sure I'm sure the celebration was epic Sunday afternoon. Because when we saw you, when we left there, you could see, the man was going to celebrate a little bit, whether it was with his mates there or with his family later, we didn't know. But it looked like it could have gone quite festive Sunday.
It did get relatively festive on Sunday. I won't lie. You missed out.
Well, I had a flight to catch, man. It's not as easy for me anymore from high school all boys home. Home is now more than 1,200 kilometers away. But yeah, thank you very much, Nikša. I really appreciate you spending some time with us, and all the best with your prep for Champions.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, thank you for the chat, and I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
All right, Nikša.
Cheers, Boris.
Cheers, my boy. Cheers, thank you. Bye.
Cheers, my brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that was Nikša sharing some of his skills. And one thing that always gets back to, you spoke about mindset and having a clear mind helps playing well and time on the green. And if you hear what the previous guests, Kevin Campbell and Sue Tar, had to say about any advice to youngsters, it's the draw, play well, be consistent. And then Nikša just added a very important thing, saying mindset. Have a clear mind. As he said there in his interview, he's doing so much better now because he's settled in life. And it relates to having a clear and stable and calm mind. Something we tend to forget when we play balls is having a calm mind. He's obviously in a very good space in his life, and we saw what happened with Herman when he got in a very safe or very happy state of mind in his balls. Herman when he started winning everything, and that's so true for Nikša. So he's experienced that, and again, Nikša Bengurić, Nishka, whatever you want to be called. Thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to serve us. Even though Wayne Perry says he doesn't ever work, Nikša said he was at work when I spoke to him. So like always, we thank our sponsors and our producers, Bits and Pixels. Not only obviously doing podcasts and streaming, but building logos and brand identity and corporate identity. They can assist you with your website and marketing, software and app development, and then e-commerce and online stores. So what a lot of people might tend to forget when they do have websites is that there is actually some market for online stores and e-commerce sites. So reach out to them, Bits and Pixels, and see how they can assist you in not only optimizing maybe your website, but also help you generate some more income.
Correct. You won't be disappointed.
So up next, we've got the PBA coach, Anneke Scheepers, bringing us another episode of the Coach's Corner, proudly sponsored by, as we say it, Grippin Stuff, or as she says it,
Grippin Stuff.
Grippin Stuff.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner, brought to you by Grippin Stuff. Today we'll be discussing the importance of the draw. There were a few guests on the show already, legends and champions, and Mornay had one question for all of them. What do they feel is good advice for a player that'll like to reach that next level in their bowls? And all of them had one answer: master the draw. The draw shot is putting pressure on your opponents, populating the head, and getting yourself out of trouble. To play those big draw shots under pressure, you need to practice them and build confidence during your practice sessions. Because playing those shots while you game up is easy. You're preparing for the situations where you game down, where you want to avoid dropping a number by getting that crucial second shot, and when you want to play that big draw to win the game or a medal. As mentioned in some of my previous segments, a very good exercise to do when you want to practice your draw is your normal 20-20 exercise. Another exercise that I like to do is placing the cones around the jack. So you've got your jack in the middle, and then you place a half a meter in front. Again, it depends on what level you're at. If you want to place them a little bit further, you can. If you want to place them a little bit closer, make it a little bit more difficult for yourself, you can do that as well. So what I do is I place it within 30 centimeters, half a meter, in front of the jack, behind the jack, left and right side of the jack. So this is just basically a guide for me, and it's going to show me where I want to end up in that little area inside the block. So what you want to do is the cone in front is a bowl, and you want to get around it. A common mistake some of us make is we tend to change our line and our weight as soon as there's a bowl in line in front of the jack or just behind it, where in fact you just need to play your normal line and weight. This is a good exercise to practice those pressure shots and then to try and apply that during a game. This is just one example of how you can place the cones and the scenario you can set up for yourself. Something else you can do during practice is think back about certain situations in games where you had to play a pressure draw shot. You can set up the cones as you like. Place it at different places, different distances, and try and play that shot again. Here are some examples of drawing shots being played under pressure. Earlier this season, the PBA had an interview with Aaron Sheriff. They asked him how does he prepare for games? What does he do in practice? And he said since a young age, he tries to set up different scenarios. He tries to make the practice as difficult as possible so that he can practice those pressure shots. And it'll make it that much easier to play during a game. So something to remember, don't just go down to the club and put as many balls down as you can. Practice with a purpose. Set up scenarios and score yourself. Thank you very much for joining me today, and join us next time for Coach's Corner, brought to you by Grippin Stuff.
And Hamper with us now after this Coach's Corner edition. We're actually very privileged to have the PBA coach, foundation coach with us, Anneke Scheepers.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome, Anneke. Welcome, and thank you for your input and your the value you bring to the show with your Coach's Corner edition. We highly appreciate it. I think that's why most people watch it.
Could be.
They fast forward to see Coach's Corner, and then that's the 2 minutes that gets viewed.
Skip through the rest.
Skip through the rest.
Yeah.
So you obviously mentioned the draw shot, and that was part of your episode this week. And one thing we really saw this week from two of your academy players, and that's why we have you on, is how well AD and Luciano was drawing. Was that sort of the how can I say, the mission about or behind today's episode of the Coach's Corner?
Yeah, so I had a session with them today. It was our first session after they're back from the SA Open. And we had a nice feedback session where I asked them a few questions. I wanted their input because I wasn't there to physically see every game. I wanted their input and how they experienced the tournament. And something that did come up was the fact that they said there wasn't any games where they felt like they started playing cowboy shots. They said they trusted themselves, they drew nicely, they focused on their draw. And that, I feel, is already a win, because you don't always want to get yourself in a situation where you're dropping numbers and then you can't make it up again, where the draw kind of eliminates that or lessens the chance.
So the PBA Academy, and a lot of people in Gauteng or especially in Pretoria learned the name the PBA Academy for the first time this week. Hardly anyone knew who Luciano was. Some people knew who AD were because he won the SA Junior Masters one year. And the name the Academy was thrown around a lot, and they're from the Academy. What is the Academy? What is the Academy? What is it about? And what do you guys do in the Academy? For those listeners or the viewers out there that actually doesn't know what the Academy is.
So the foundation was started obviously off an idea of reaching out to the community and making a difference in people's lives. So the idea actually came from Lombard. The bigger idea, the foundation, came from him, where he really wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And we've got the platform, we've got the support. Why not do that for current bowlers? So what we have at the moment is we've got 4 players in the academy, all from different backgrounds, but the focus is not only on bowls. It's basically to develop them as a person, to develop them professionally, and to give them every opportunity to thrive in life.
So we could see that. Nampo, I mean, we spent quite a lot of time with AD and Luciano from like Thursday, Friday actually, and you could just see it's 2 well-mannered young gentlemen, and the way they handle themselves, and they played a very high standard of bowls that come with that. Yeah. From a academy perspective, like I know there was an interview with that lady from Gauteng Bowls that called Luciano, and she said, "What do you do at the academy?" And his answer was a bit vague. He said, "We do assessments," but I know it goes deeper than that. Do you mind giving our viewers just the deeper insight of what the academy entails? What does a day look like for someone like AD Luciano in the academy? And then there's 2 other players as well, obviously, which we'll get to now. But what does a day in the life of AD Luciano look like in the PBA Foundation Academy?
So, like I said, it's not only bowls. So yes, we do focus on bowls. That's why I get involved as the coach. So we do assessments, but we also do other exercises. We play games. I try and put them in different like scenarios that they might find themselves in a game. We have discussions about different shots that you can play in different situations. We really try and be strategic and work on game plans as well. So it's not just physically bowling. And then the other side of it is both of them have a greenkeeper background. Both of them know what it's about. So at the moment, both of them live in Wellington, and they both involved, they're members at Wellington, but they also work there as well as they help the greenkeepers and obviously the other green staff there. So they're gaining that experience. When they get to Durbanville, I mean, we all know how good the greens are here, and it's all because of Jeffrey. That's
don't let Ian Gordon know. Don't let Ian Gordon know that.
No, obviously Ian Gordon is there as well. But I mean, Jeffrey has really dedicated his life to these greens and the facilities around the greens as well. So I can see when they get here the interest they have. They go down to Jeffrey and they ask him questions, and they're trying to develop that skill and gain more knowledge about that. But it doesn't stop there. If any of them, they're not just limited to greenkeeping. If they feel like, I want to go a different route, I want to go into a completely different direction with my life, this is what the foundation and the academy is for. We've got that open door policy, we've got that honesty, we've got that, we've kind of given them that invitation to come and talk to us. If you feel like you want to go into, let's say, nursing or medicine or something like that, we will do whatever we can from our side to make that possible for you. So that's why I'm saying it's not just bowls, it's to develop you as a person and for you to follow your dreams, and it's not just winning a gold medal at bowls.
So it's upliftment with bowls as a sideline.
Yeah, so bowls
although the main focus, but
yeah.
there is other opportunities outside of that. It's not the
bowls will
be all
probably
and end
be
all.
like 20% of what we are trying to achieve here. We obviously want them all to get their Protea colours and represent the country. That'll be amazing. But the main objective is to develop them as people that can really take care of themselves and their family and
better their lives.
Yes, better their lives.
The life skill, I would say.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's incredible. And we take our hats off to you and Lombard and Audrey and Brez and Vic.
Vivian.
Vivian.
Yeah.
And, sorry, Vivian. Vivian and Higu, which is all involved in the academy. Who is currently in that academy, and how do you become part of this academy? Because the academy is not for everyone. It's not you enter and apply, or you pay a subscription and you're part of the academy. Who is currently the 4 academy players, and how do you get into the academy?
Yeah, so first of all, there is a confusion, so I just want to set it straight. I do coaching on the side as well. So the funds or the money that we get from the coaching I do goes into the foundation that goes towards the academy. People are often confused or ask the question, how do I form part of your academy, or how do I get into your academy? Meanwhile, they're just basically looking for coaching. So it's 2 completely different things. So at the moment, we've got 4 players in the academy. We've got Luciano and then Adi, that you all know about already. And then we've got Tando and Armand. So
surnames?
Miraji, sorry. Miraji and Armand Askari. Askari, sorry. I'm Afrikaans. So obviously everyone is from a different background. All of them have got massive potential, and we feel that they've got the potential to get to a Protea status. Not necessarily within the next 2 or 3 months. We're working, it's a long-term plan. Armand obviously is someone that's already, he's studied, he's got a job, he's working full-time. So it kind of differs for everyone. So he won't necessarily need too much support outside of bowls, but we do give him that opportunity to talk to us, but we do at the moment support him in his bowls. Where you've got Tando, he's still a scholar, he's 15 years old, and we're kind of working around his school and extramural like activities. Yeah, so we're working around that as well. So it's a lot of planning, a lot of scheduling, and trying to fit everyone in. At the moment, Adi and Luciano is obviously more, you can say they have more free time. Not free time, but they've got the time to get here, and we can spend a lot of hours on the green. Where the other 2, we really need to like plan ahead and... Yeah, but we're trying to give everyone the same amount of support that they obviously deserve. And yeah, that's what we're doing at the moment from a bowls perspective.
So, Anneke, so what, for me, what's people I've always respected in sports, so like having played cricket and decent level of golf and stuff like that, and not a lot of rugby, but who I look back and I think are legends of the game are people who actually get back to the game. So people who don't just walk away with everything that they've achieved through life, and they give back to the game once in some shape, one way or another, one shape or form or another. And this is exactly that. And you're doing that already. You're very far away from the end of your tenure. So when I look at top names, guys who've like a Kevin Campbell and guys like that, and they've given back to the game in some way, shape, or form, where they take a novice out and they go and play something with them or something like that. But this is a different level. This is pulling them in through the game of bowls, teaching them life skills, as you said, and setting them on their way, whether they choose bowls or not. But giving them a positive path to live their lives with and go with it or not. I commend you on that, and Lombard as well. I think it's brilliant, and I think there's a lot of people around the country that can look at that and go, "This is the way forward, and this is how we should be." Approaching the game and approaching people who need it.
Yeah, no, I feel very fortunate to be in this position because obviously bowls is very important to me. It's a sport I've loved for majority of my life now. I've been given so much throughout my bowls career. I've been given opportunities, played with legends.
Met my husband.
No, I've really, Bowl South Africa has put a lot into me. Financially, the opportunities they've given us. The tours we go on, just that opportunity to live my dream. And it didn't just come from them. I had support throughout from the day I started right through. It wasn't just my parents, it was people that believed in me, people from my club, people from my district. And to have experienced that was just amazing. And I've always believed that I want other people to experience the same. I want people to feel supported. I want people to get the opportunities that I got. And I want to also kind of create opportunities that I might not have gotten. Yeah. So coaching especially has been a very important thing to me, or it's close to my heart, especially working with kids. I did do a bit of coaching when I was in Bredasdorp with one of the local schools. So I think that's where my love for it actually started, and where I felt like I could make a difference in people's lives through coaching.
That's magic. Well done.
So just before we finish off, so Luciano plays Alan Chalinda in the quarterfinals of the SA Open Nationals. He goes 7-3 down, and I think he went, or 10-3 down. He wins 21-10. And Anneke gets a message that Luciano has won the game. He's guaranteed a medal. And I think me and you stood next to each other when the loudspeaker...
Yes, when she got the phone call.
When you got the phone call. And I think half of Pretoria High School All Boys could hear the conversation. But what went through your mind as the head coach of the PBA Academy when you got the phone call to say Luciano has won his quarterfinal game, he's guaranteed a medal as a 20-year-old?
I got emotional. AD phoned me, because obviously he was giving us the scores. He didn't send the final score on the group. He phoned me, and I thought, okay, I hope this is good news. And he just told me he won. And he's like, here's the phone, I'm going to give it to Luciano. I didn't know it was on loudspeaker, so I didn't know what I sounded like. But I was so close to tears, but I just wanted to get it through to him that I'm so proud of him. And I'm so grateful and happy that they got that opportunity to experience that. And I was just trying to get it through to him, you've got a medal. It was just amazing. I'm very proud.
And we can see, looking at you now, how proud you still are. We can see the tears building, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being proud about or proud of your players and everyone that you touched their lives. You made a difference in their lives. Not only you, Vivian, Lombard. The academy has made a difference in their lives. So you can be proud and emotional, and there's nothing wrong with that. On that there we go. There we go. There's a tear off the cheek. On that very special note, Anneke, thank you very much for coming to spend time with us. Myself and Ampo, we tried to get our applications into the academy, but it was declined because they said we don't have a good enough record and we're too old. Especially Ampo.
And we're beyond help. Absolutely beyond help.
They said, Ampo, wait for the Veterans Academy, another 5 years, and then... But yeah, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us, and well done, and congratulations to you as head coach and to everyone else involved in the PBA Foundation Academy. We're looking forward to see your results in the future and how you go from strength to strength and how you build rock stars in bowls in the future.
Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity to get that, what do you call it, platform to talk about it. So at the moment, we want to grow it. At the moment, we're working with like a pilot demo. We're taking it as it comes and seeing which way we can go. If something doesn't work, we can always change direction. So I just wanted to tell the other up-and-coming players across the country, we do want to go nationwide eventually. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard at bowls, practice, and win those titles like Luciano and Adi. They made a name for themselves. So if you are a good player, you're a good sportsman, and you're winning hearts, and you a good person off the green as well, people will notice. And that's what we're looking for. That's the people we're looking for the academy. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
So, just on that note, if you are listening, Daniel Vaughan, it's not over for you. Daniel Key, it's not over. It's the dream's still alive for you. But on that note, Hampo, mate, a pleasure like always. Anneke, for the first time ever, we will officially shake hands and formally shake hands. And thank you very much for joining us. And then we'll see you next week.